50s. There'll be 25 protests in these classes.
What, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
25 protests.
How are you in the back?
Already getting yelled at.
What are you doing?
And he says, how should a Moto mom and dad conduct themselves? Quite frankly, I get disgusted how some parents rage, belittle, and treat their kids at some of the races. We witnessed that a lot in Loretta's video. And we made fun of it in Loretta's video because there was that one dad who was just freaking out. He was so pissed that his son was in the back.
In the PW50 class. What, did something just happen? Oh, no.
Just forget it.
Unreal.
No,
Four of them this time?
In the 50 class, but on the sight lap. He was so mad. That was the part that made it in the video. He was like, what are you doing in the back? And it was a sight lap. Like, didn't matter at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's not a good sign. Yeah.
And it's interesting because we've witnessed that, like, if you go to a dirt bike track, it's probably with every sport, right? Where you have
definitely.
The caring parents and the angry parents, and are there any like pro guys who really made it and have those parents still in the picture? You know what I mean?
Alessi.
Okay. Yeah, he's still kicking.
As far as the crazy parents?
Yeah.
Not to call Tony Alessi a crazy parent, but he was definitely on the verge of the aggressive moto dad. So was mine.
Mm. Tony?
My dad was...
Really?
Are you kidding me? My dad was a lunatic. For anybody listening or viewing this podcast, I'm sure we'll clip this one. Oh yeah, Tony Cat was... I would come off the track and I remember multiple times I would get back to the truck and everybody would be like, hey, AJ, go somewhere else. You're not going to want to be here. Go somewhere else before your dad gets back. So I would go somewhere else. Like
what?
Often.
Why?
After winning races even. But if I like crashed or dabbed if I made a mistake or so trust me, I'm well aware of how that works. I think for me, it hurt me because it made me like too much of a perfectionist on the bike, because it wasn't like a result-based craziness. My dad wasn't like, oh, you got third place, like we're never doing this again. It was more of making sure I'm doing it the right way, which is interesting. Most parents do not operate that way. Most parents are like, you're not performing well enough result-wise. It's just not a great way to be. Like, why? Even watching that dad with the PW50, even though he wasn't doing it to the kid in that exact moment, you know that just with that attitude, that is the exact type of person that would do that to the kid as well. I mean, as a parent, everything that you do, everything that you say is like morphing what your child is going to turn into.
Right. I mean, I think the tough part is like Moto is so expensive. I understand how parents could fall into just like
it should be effort based alone. Mm-hmm. You get angry or strict or whatever, effort. If your kid's not putting in 100% effort and that's obvious, then crack down on that one. Absolutely. But anything other than effort, and usually that's not the case. Usually they're cracking down on not performing well enough or not doing the big double that they're afraid of. And that's not due to lack of effort. That's due to lack of confidence, probably because you're yelling at them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I've never appreciated seeing that. It always bums me out because riding a dirt bike is fun. You're like, yeah, okay, put in effort, whatever, but who cares? Like, there's a lot of money in it, which what I was trying to get at is like, I could see how a parent could just be doing that out of stress. Like Like your kid says they want to make it, so you pour everything into it. You're at Loretta's, like, make something happen, you know? That's not a good excuse for it, but I could see how somebody could fall into that mindset, you know? But I don't know. All the dads that still hang out with their kids in the pro ranks are consistent, but not aggressive. Like, look at John Tomac, look at Dazzy, look at, like, they're on it. They're working as hard as the kids are, but they aren't, like, they're not belittling
yelling
them.
And screaming and belligerent. Yeah, those are the dads or the parents that aren't calculated and probably don't know what they're doing, right? The ones like Dazzy, Jet and Hunter's dad, who, by the way, we're going to have involved in this podcast at some point. Dazzy is the most calculated person ever. Those two could come off the track from the worst race of all time, and it's like, all right, mate, like, take a deep breath. He's calming them down and trying to, like, talk sense into them. Not the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is difficult. And I don't have a kid yet, so I can't speak on it. But I think about it often. Like, when I have a kid, I wonder how exactly I'm going to act. Or I almost like think about how I should act when I am a parent. And like when I have moments by myself or with other people, I think about how I need to like fix certain things or be a little bit better for when I have a kid so I don't react in certain ways. You have to be careful. I mean, kids are so impressionable. My dad, the way he acted made me so scared to make a mistake on the dirt bike that I became like the most overcautious rider ever. Good question though. Yeah, as a parent, be calculated, show support, really focus on effort and effort-based goals, not result-based goals.
Yeah, but with that said, let me just sprinkle this in real quick.
Okay.
If your kid hasn't expressed anything other than just wanting to ride a dirt bike, just don't be that guy. Just don't be the guy. Just don't be the guy. If he's not trying to go pro, freaking just let him go have fun. Don't be the guy. You know, doesn't matter how fast he's going. I don't care.
With pro, not pro, it doesn't matter. It's more so about like discipline and raising a kid. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it. It's not like motocross specific. This is just a parenting thing coming from the guy that doesn't have a kid.
And me, who really doesn't have a kid. So there's your advice.
There's your advice.
Yeah, I'm sure those moto dads will listen to us.
Sure, that helped. If you guys are enjoying these podcast clips and you want to watch full episodes, you can subscribe at club.themotoacademy.com.